Golden State Warriors did not come out and play last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, taking advantage of their big physical talent that the Grizzlies do have, losing on home court for only the third time in 2014-2015. Same thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who lost on their home court against the Chicago Bulls, who are, of course, an extremely talented team, a Chicago native. We know you're a Bulls fan, Justin. Welcome to the Rundown, everybody. We're going to be talking about what home court advantage used to mean and what it means now. I'm joined by Justin Moser and Victor Chi. Jason Rubin here with you. So the playoffs have been stellar, with all the remaining teams proving that they can make that jump into the NBA Finals. I really don't see too many teams left that don't have a chance. Tuesday night with the Grizzlies, led by Mike Conley and a mask we were discussing just before the show started. There's something about a face mask, when worn during the NBA playoffs, that turns you into a superhuman talent, at least on a single-game basis for Conley. But remember Rip Hamilton in the early 2000s. LeBron James wore a mask. Russell Westbrook dents his face. Yeah. And what are they? We're going to give the mask all the credit, by the way. That's why they went for the triple-doubles. Has to be, right? So I want to talk first about Mike Conley and the Grizzlies, their big talent. I mean, again, some people find the Grizzlies to be a little bit boring of a team. I think they play a very fundamental game that their big size truly was able to wear down Golden State's tremendously fast and transition offense. So how gritty was Mike Conley's performance last night, and was he the sole reason that the Grizzlies won? Justin, we'll start with you.
You know, I think he is the sole reason the Grizzlies won. They are a completely different team when the ball's in their hands, and despite having 7 broken bones in his face, he's fearless. He's driving the basket. The replay where he was on the ground and Draymond may or may not have hit him in the face, he actually split 2 defenders going the hoop. So he's fearless. He's doing everything that he did in the regular season, and they're just a different team with him.
Right, and I agree with that. The only thing I have against Mike Conley is his consistency. Because when he is the leader of that team, he really does spread the floor. When you have Gasol and you have Zach Randolph able to set high pick-and-roll screens, and Gasol is a master of a fundamental pick-and-roll offense. He really is needed, and he always needed that point guard, Mike Conley, to complete the equation. So, again, with Mike Conley, the consistency, he had a plus-minus of fantastic so far.
What was it, 2021 or something?
At one point during the regular season, the first really half, and then he started to fall off the face of the earth, and everyone's like, oh my God, the Grizzlies are crashing! But they're back, and obviously a series tied. Too early to make too many conclusions. There's still a lot of basketball we played. Victor, I want to talk to you about home court advantage, because losing on your home court, I mean, the fans have your back, and the Warriors have some of the best fan base in the country right now. How much effect is that going to have going back into Memphis? Can the Grizzlies be able to take a game or two on their home court?
I think when we dissect the home court advantage, nowadays there's so much parity in the league that these are the playoffs. It's not like you're beating up against the little sisters of the poor during the regular season. You can fatten up your home record. Just look at the Clippers-Spurs series, road teams winning all the time. And even historically, when you're in the playoffs, I think the home court may come more into play when you get to a Game 7. But even then, it's no guarantee. I was just spinning around, I don't know if it was a Netflix something the other night. It was a great documentary about the Knicks-Pacers rivalry, in the mid-90s.
Are you bringing that up to break my heart, Vic?
And, the classic series is when Reggie Miller scores those 8 points in like 8 seconds, whatever it was, and the Pacers steal Game 1 at the Garden. The Knicks are on the ropes. They come up with a huge win in Game 6 in Indy, and then Game 7's back at the Garden, and Indiana wins. So I think, even historically, if you go back a little earlier, when, the Bulls still played at Chicago Stadium and the Celtics were in their heyday in Boston Garden, those were legitimate home court advantages because the buildings were so old, the crowd's right on top of you. They're not even up to fire code. The Boston Garden didn't have air conditioning. It's like 90 degrees. Kareem's getting a migraine. That's a home court advantage. And there's dead spots on the parquet floor. Now there's more of the cookie cutter arenas, and there's $1,000 seats to sit courtside, more of a corporate crowd. So it's a little bit of a different animal now.
So bringing up the Indiana Pacers, destroying my Knicks, my childhood, my dreams, my wanting of a championship. I don't even know. This is my face. I've watched that documentary. It's ESPN 30 for 30. It's very well done. But Reggie Miller is the sole reason that I hate the Indiana Pacers, subjectively speaking. With Paul George back next year, they're going to be a hell of a team in the East. Let's transition over to the Cavs and the Bulls, because this is outside the Clippers and the Rockets, because trust me, America, we all want the Rockets to get swept. I don't care about you guys in Houston. I promise you. Clippers, destroy them. They lost without Chris Paul. That's just sad.
That's pretty incredible.
Sad. James Harden, start playing like the MVP that you were playing to at least earlier in the season. So with the Cavs and the Bulls, this is the series that truly has the most meaning, at least for the Eastern Conference. LeBron James is involved in this. So, of course, everyone's eyes are on, as I've always said, the center of sports universe in America, LeBron. But the Bulls bring such a unique, a similar gritty element that the Memphis Grizzlies bring, except on a defensively star power level. Between Pau Gasol with his veteran leadership and still being able to drop 20 and 10, I don't know what it is about Spanish players in the NBA, but God, are they consistent. They're just like a bunch of little Tim Duncans, or at least same size Tim Duncans. But Jimmy Butler has emerged, obviously, earlier this season, and of course Nikola Mirotic, the rookie who's been pretty much very underrated during the regular season, but another Spanish, played for FC Barcelona, the basketball team, not the soccer team. And now you have no Love and you have no J.R. Smith. What do the Bulls have to do to put the nail in the coffin for the Cavaliers? Again, it's early to make these predictions, but Justin, being a Bulls fan, what do you want to see out of the Bulls in tonight's game to take a commanding 2-1 series lead?
I have a giant grin on my face, so I get to talk about my Bulls. This is the season that Chicago fans have been waiting for years and years and years on end. You know,
you only had like a ton of championships, 6 of them in the 90s.
But I think of long-term NBA franchises, the Bulls are have had one of the longest droughts of a championship.
Oh, I feel so bad, man. My heart goes out.
Well, I want to be an adult.
Well, the Knicks fans here in 1973.
Knicks
so
fans.
he's
20 years
he's going to
before
play
I
the
was born.
smallest violin for you.
If I can find a microscopic one, I
Well,
will.
so I think the key to our success is really Derrick Rose. Unfortunately, you saw in that Bucks series that he was at times the worst player on the court for the Bulls. He had way too many turnovers. His plus-minus was really bad. He really needs to step up. I mean, every time he takes a pull-up jumper, I think Chicago collective fans are like, oh my God, is he? But they were going in. They were going in. Our shooting percentage was amazing. Pau was hitting that corner elbow shot that he seems to be doing for his entire career.
Right.
You know, and I think Tibbs is doing a really nice job with rotations this time around. I think he got mad at some people in the Bucks series. We really shouldn't have dropped 2 games. Snell hasn't seen a minute in this playoff series yet. He's playing the veteran Kirk Heinrich, who's actually been playing pretty solid defense. And I think the Bulls really need to go back to their roots of being a defensive powerhouse and hitting their perimeter shots.
Yeah, if they can cut down, obviously, the Cavs' scoring abilities, because we know that LeBron James, at any point, can go off for an insane scoring streak. And you have Kyrie Irving. It's not like they don't have options on that team. Tristan Thompson, the team runs deep, very deep. But a lot of people are pulling for the Bulls, and a lot of people, of course, are going to be pulling for the Cavs, because I wish this was the Eastern Conference Finals, just because I think this series is happening too early. But Victor, in terms of transitioning once more here, this is a different playoffs altogether when it comes to who we are seeing as the star power now. No Kobe Bryant. No more Tim Duncan, no Dwayne Wade, and this is what we are staples of the last 4 or 5 years, last 15 years of NBA basketball. Who have you seen emerge as like the next big star in the playoffs so far?
Well, Curry obviously is the front runner in that discussion just because he's the MVP and has had some spectacular games in the playoffs. But with the way the Clipper series against San Antonio unfolded with Chris Paul hitting the game-winning shot, and he's been a guy who has gotten some scrutiny on him, has not come through in the playoffs before. So that obviously a big step forward. We'll see what happens with his health status in the current series. But both of those series, Paul and Curry, they happen to meet. That could be a real dynamic head-to-head situation, especially given what happened last year when they did go head-to-head.
Right, and again, that Clippers-Warriors, not to jump the gun too early here, but the Western Conference Finals, that's setting the stage for one of the most fun, if not the most fun, West Finals we've seen in a long time. As you mentioned, Chris Paul has emerged to become now a playoff moment, spectacular, making shots. It's great to watch him do it because he's been not just one of the best point guards in the league for a long time, but he's hands down one of the smartest point guards in the league. There's a reason LeBron James and Kobe Bryant threw out the idea that the basketball IQ, something you can't quantify necessarily, but Chris Paul's name is attached to that almost every single time because he sees the floor, his court vision's unbelievable, and right now has the best pull-up mid-range shot in the NBA as of today.
You know what? To answer your question, though, I really think we're in a heyday of basketball. There are so many players that you could have just named that are coming out. I mean, Kyrie Irving's never been in the playoffs before, and he is easily a top 5 player, at least scoring-wise. He's on the wrong team because he's a wizard. That guy gets to the basket like no one else. Jimmy Butler's having a coming-out party. John Wall, the Wizards, didn't really look like the same team without him, and that guy is an assist machine. So there are so many people that you can name that are superstars these days.
Of course, and we're gonna absolutely touch on the underrated players in another clip, so make sure to stay tuned for that one. But I do need to mention the fact that there is somebody still around who's had some of the most clutch shots in NBA history, and his name's Paul Pierce. Because he's been playing for the Wizards, and he's been, I've been saying now for a little bit, hated Paul Pierce on the Celtics. Again, subjective. I'm allowed my subjective opinion. Hated Paul Pierce on the Celtics. It's the same as Joakim Noah. If you're a Bulls fan, you love him. If you don't, you hate playing against him. That type of player. Goes to the Wizards, and of course the Nets for a little pit stop. God, that guy's fun to watch. Fourth quarter, I feel like he plays 20 minutes a game, and 10 of those are in the fourth. Just give him the rock every goddamn time. If you don't have John Wall on that team, Brad Beal, I don't know what happened, man. You slumped a little bit this year, and I really hope you can come back to... There was a great argument last year. Who had the better backcourt, the Warriors or the Wizards? That argument was very much settled about 20 games into this season. But in terms of the NBA playoffs, guys, as always, 2015, it's been a golden age of basketball to watch this season. We're really excited to bring you more coverage on it going forward. We want you to leave your thoughts, predictions, comments in the comments section below. We are here to answer them. We love getting into that debate. Who are the new faces of the NBA playoffs in 2015? Who do you think is going to be in the West and Eastern Conference Finals? Leave all your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the Post Game Network and TYT Sports. This has been The Rundown from Victor Tree, Justin Moser, Jason Rubin. We'll see you next time.